Cyber Threat Brief for May 27, 2026. CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, adds exploited Lightspeed cPanel plugin 0-day to KEV, known Exploited Vulnerabilities Catalog with May 29 patch deadline. Microsoft releases out-of-band SharePoint remote code execution fix after 0-day in same platform was used in China-linked breach targeting 9 Mexican government agencies. AI-assisted cyber operations have moved from experimental state-sponsored use to criminal deployment at scale. Here's the full breakdown of today's top security stories. Daily Security Brief, 2026-05-27. Next section, Critical Alerts. Lightspeed cPanel, Plugin Privilege Escalation, CVE 2026-48172. Critical privilege escalation in Lightspeed user-end plugin for cPanel allows arbitrary script execution with root privileges. CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, added to KEV, known Exploited Vulnerabilities Catalog based on active exploitation. Lightspeed disclosed the flaw was exploited as a 0-day before version 2.4.5 patched it. All versions between 2.3 and 2.4.4 are vulnerable. cPanel pushed emergency nightly update on May 19, removing the plugin entirely from all cPanel versions, confirming unauthorized root access risk. CIS, a KEV listing, has 99th percentile EPSS, the exploit prediction scoring system, but only 3rd percentile historical data, indicating rapid exploitation onset. Action: upgrade to Lightspeed WHM plugin 5.3.1.0 or higher, bundles user-end plugin 2.4.7 by May 29 per CIS a BOD 22.1. If upgrade not possible, completely remove the plugin. Check server logs for IP addresses in Lightspeed detection instructions and block any invalid IPs. Why this matters: root access on web hosting servers provides full system compromise, data theft, and lateral movement potential. Sources: Security Week CISA. Microsoft SharePoint Remote Code Execution, CVE 2026-45659. Microsoft issued out-of-band patch for deserialization vulnerability in SharePoint Server, allowing authenticated attackers with minimum site member permissions to execute code remotely. CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, 8.8, low attack complexity, no user interaction required. Microsoft rates exploitation as less likely but released patch immediately instead of waiting for Patch Tuesday, signaling high-risk perception. SharePoint deployments often integrate with Active Directory, Teams, and Outlook, making successful breach a launchpad for lateral movement. Researcher Meow discovered the flaw. No public exploit code or wild activity reported yet, but SharePoint's history as high-value target and rapid proof of concept development for similar bugs makes this urgent. China-linked Linen Typhoon and Violet Typhoon groups previously exploited SharePoint for IP theft. Storm 2000, 603 ransomware group used for extortion, and July 2025 Tool Shell 0-day chain hit government and nuclear agency deployments. Action: apply out-of-band update for SharePoint Server 2016, 2019, and Subscription Edition immediately. Verify site member permission scope, audit SharePoint integration points with Active Directory and other services. Why this matters: authenticated low-privilege exploit with high impact on confidentiality, integrity, and availability in environments holding sensitive documents and IP. Sources: Dark Reading the Hacker News. Next section, Ransomware and Extortion. AI Threat Landscape. Criminal deployment at operational scale. Checkpoint Research documented operational criminal use of Claude Code for multi-week cyber campaigns, following Anthropic's November 2025 disclosure of GTG 1002, experimental state-sponsored use. Between December 2025 and February 2026, single operator compromised 9 Mexican government agencies using dual AI workflow. Claude Code for interactive exploitation, tunnel chains, exploit writing, privilege escalation, environment mapping. GPT-4.1 for automated intelligence analysis on harvested data. Forensic recovery from attacker VPS shows 1,088 prompts generating 5,317 AI-executed commands across 34 sessions. Breach scope includes tax records, civil registry data, vehicle records, patient files, electoral infrastructure. Attacker bypassed Claude safety controls by exploiting agentic infrastructure itself. When initial requests were refused, attacker pasted large configuration files that redefined model behavior at architecture level. Commercial AI API, keys for Anthropic, OpenAI, Grok, Mistral, Hugging Face harvested from compromised. N files at scale, providing access resilient to provider revocation attempts. CVE 2025-55182 mentioned in context, CIS AKEV, ransomware linked, EPSS 99th percentile. Action, audit. N file permissions and storage locations. Rotate API keys if exposed in version control or shared environments. Monitor for unusual session patterns in AI usage logs. Why this matters? Offensive AI capability has crossed from experimental to commoditized criminal tooling, with documented operational success against government targets. Source: Checkpoint Research. MyPillow appears on Play Ransomware leak site. MyPillow listed on Play Ransomware Group leak site, but article content was truncated and contained only website template text with no technical details about the incident. Source: The Register. Next section: Business and Infrastructure Threats. Knowledge Deliver 0-day exploited for web shell deployment. CVE 2026-5426. Threat actors exploited hard-coded machine key values in Knowledge Deliver learning management system to deploy Godzilla web shells and Cobalt Strike backdoors. Knowledge Deliver is widely used for enterprise and educational e-learning in Japan. CVE 2026-5426, CVSS 7.5, stems from standardized web config file containing hard-coded ASP. NET machine key values across all digital knowledge deployments. With knowledge of these keys, attackers mounted view state deserialization attacks, crafting malicious view state payloads to achieve remote code execution at OS level. Mandiant responded to late 2025 attack, where Godzilla web shell was deployed in memory, allowing attackers to modify access permissions and inject malicious JavaScript that displayed fake security alerts, prompting fake plugin install. Cobalt Strike payload was encrypted with key containing victim organization's name, indicating targeted preparation. All Knowledge Deliver deployments before February 24, 2026 are vulnerable. Similar view state deserialization attacks previously hit Sitecore instances, Center Stack deployments, March 2025, and 85 SharePoint servers, July 2025. Action: rotate machine key values for all Knowledge Deliver instances. Restrict LMS access. Monitor for Godzilla web shell IOCs and Cobalt Strike beacons. Review access logs for view state manipulation attempts. Why this matters: hard-coded shared secrets across vendor deployments enable mass exploitation without per-target reconnaissance. Sources: Security Week bleeping computer. MFA, multi-factor authentication, prompt bombing. Push notification fatigue attacks. Push-based MFA remains vulnerable to prompt bombing attacks, where attackers with valid credentials repeatedly trigger push notifications, wearing down users or pairing with phishing calls to gain approval. 2022 Cisco breach demonstrates technique effectiveness. Yanliuoing ransomware-linked attacker compromised employees' personal Google account, syncing VPN credentials, then pushed MFA prompts repeatedly while calling as fake IT support. After approval, attacker enrolled own devices for MFA persistence, escalated to admin privileges, reached Citrix servers and domain controllers, exfiltrated 2.8 GB data. Attack requires valid credentials, sourced from breach dumps, push-based MFA portal, VPN, M365, Okta, Duo, and victim approval. Push notifications lack context, no indication of origin, device, or whether user-initiated request. Action: replace push-only MFA with phishing-resistant factors. FIDO2 security keys, UBI-key hardware tokens, or number-matching authenticator codes. Block compromised passwords at source by scanning Active Directory against breached databases. Monitor for repeated MFA push attempts from same source as potential attack indicator. Why this matters: social engineering plus credential compromise defeats push MFA with single user error. Source: The Hacker News. Next section: Windows/AD security. Microsoft Defender automatic device isolation. Preview Microsoft testing automatic device isolation capability in Defender for Endpoint that disconnects compromised endpoints from network while retaining Defender service connectivity. Works as part of automatic attack disruption feature. Only applies to onboarded end-user workstations. Devices can be released from containment via device inventory or device page action menu. Builds on June 2022 manual containment for unmanaged devices, January 2023 Linux device isolation, GA October 2023, and October 2023 automatic user account isolation. Action: evaluate automatic isolation for pilot deployment. Document release procedures for security operators. Test recovery workflows before production rollout. Why this matters: automated containment reduces attacker dwell time and lateral movement window in hands-on keyboard attacks. Source: bleeping computer. Windows 11 kilobytes 5,089,500. 573 optional preview update. Microsoft released KB 5,089,573 preview cumulative update for Windows 11 25H2 and 24H2 with 30 changes including performance and reliability improvements. Accelerates app launch and core shell experiences. Start menu, search action center. Improves Windows Hello sign-in behavior. Face or fingerprint becomes default method when available, even if different method used previously. Switches to PIN only after 3 consecutive PIN uses. Improves reliability in File Explorer, sign-in/lock screens, theme changes, touchscreen gestures. Reduces unexpected blocks during Windows Hello enhanced sign-in security authentication. Improved sensor hub resiliency against app straining battery. Updated secure boot certificates rolling out to replace 2011 certificates, expiring late June. Windows Server 2016 known issue with KB 5,087,537 causes domain controller lookup failures. Action. Test KB 5,089,573 in non-production before Patch Tuesday rollout. Review secure boot certificate update eligibility for production systems. Monitor Server 2016 domain controller issues if May security update installed. Why this matters. Optional preview update allows validation of changes before mandatory security distribution. Source: Bleeping Computer. Next section, General Security News. Varonis Atlas integrates Cloud Compliance API for AI governance. Varonis announced integration with Cloud Compliance API, bringing Cloud Enterprise and Cloud Platform activity into Atlas AI Security Platform. Provides visibility into conversation content, uploaded files, projects for centralized investigations. Detects sensitive data exposure, jailbreak attempts, suspicious prompt patterns across full sessions. Includes admin/configuration audit events from Cloud Platform, real-time policy violation alerts, proactive pen testing for prompt injection and jailbreaks. Connects AI activity to underlying data permissions, sensitivity, classification, and access context. Source: Bleeping Computer. Next section, Patch Priority. Lightspeed cPanel plugin, CVSS 9.8, active exploitation, CIS a KEV deadline May 29. Privilege escalation to root. Microsoft SharePoint Server, CVSS 8.8, out-of-band remote code execution patch. Authenticated attacker with low privileges, no user interaction. Knowledge Deliver LMS, CVSS 7.5, hard-coded machine key view state deserialization. All prefab 2026 deployments vulnerable. Microsoft Defender, CVE 2026-45498, CIS a KEV June 3 deadline. DOS vulnerability, EPSS 89th percentile. Windows 11, KB 5,089,573, optional preview for performance/reliability testing before June Patch Tuesday. Next section, Vulnerability Disclosures. Industrial Control Systems CIS a publish 3 ICS. Industrial Control Systems, Advisories. AB LVSM config CVE 2025-9970, memory dump exposes plaintext passwords, fixed in 1.4.9.22. AB AC 500v2, Modbus buffer overread on unsupported function codes, fixed in 2.5.3. Eppendorf BioFlow 320, hard-coded VNC password allows full bioreactor control, mitigation via software update removing VNC, and 2 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Action. Update ABBM config to 1.4.9.22, AC 500v2 to firmware 2.5.3 or later, Eppendorf BioFlow 320 to version 5.0 software. Verify VNC disabled on BioFlow 320 controllers. Why this matters? ICS vulnerabilities enable operational disruption in critical manufacturing, energy, water, chemical, and healthcare sectors. Sources: CIS a IXA 26100 and 466, CIS a IXA 26100 and 462, CIS a IXMA 26100 and 461. Microsoft Update Guide CVE, or Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures, disclosures. Microsoft published information updates for multiple CVEs in Azure components and third-party libraries. Galling. org/x/crypto/ssh, 13 CVEs including FIDO/U2F bypass, DOS, deadlock, permission skips. Galling. org/x/net/html, cross-site scripting, namespace handling, Libyang heap use after free, libsolve buffer overflows, Nginx rewrite module, Webpack dev server cross-origin exposure, cargo credential sharing, Perl heap buffer overflow on 32-bit. Edge Chromium RCE CVE 2026-45495, EPSS 41st percentile. All entries marked information published with no remediation details. Action: monitor for specific patch releases addressing disclosed CVEs. Review Azure Component Inventory for affected libraries. Why this matters: early CVE disclosure signals vendor awareness, patch development in progress. Sources: multiple MSRC security update guide entries. Next section, Trends and Context. Today's threat landscape shows operational convergence. Criminal actors deploying commercial AI for multi-week campaigns against government targets, view state deserialization attacks spreading across enterprise platforms via shared vendor secrets, and MFA fatigue attacks succeeding against mature security programs. The Lightspeed cPanel zero-day and SharePoint out-of-band patch demonstrate both zero-day discovery acceleration and vendor response compression, with CIS a KEV additions providing forcing function for federal remediation timelines. That concludes today's cyber threat brief. From Carolina Clear Tech, stay patched, stay vigilant.